Hello everyone. Hope all of you have been doing well. Today I'm going to talk about Himalayan golden raspberry. In this scene here, you can see this baby shrub growing to the far right on this trail. If you've ever walked through the Himalayan foothills in summer, you've probably seen flashes of bright orange scattered across the hillsides. Soft, glowing, almost like little drops of sunlight. This is the Himalayan golden raspberry. In our native language Pahari, it's called heer. And today I want to talk about why this plant is not only beautiful and delicious, but extremely important to this entire landscape, and how, without anyone planning it, it already follows so many permaculture principles on its own. This plant grows as a large spreading shrub. A single bush can reach around 2 to 3 meters in height and spread just as wide, sometimes even more. In fact, usually more than that if weather conditions are favorable. It prefers cold weather. Well, that is why it's a native plant here. It doesn't grow in a controlled way. It spreads, bends, overlaps, almost weaving itself into the land. The stems and leaves have very fine thorns. They are completely covered in tiny prickly thorns, kinda like in nettles. Only difference is these are much smaller and much finer than the one on nettles. And these thorns, they are not very aggressive, but just enough to protect the plant. And these thorns have many practical uses for this shrub. They keep the predatory animals away. They create safe shelter. Small birds often build nests inside these dense branches because predators can't enter easily. So even structurally, this plant is already supporting life. Isn't this such a gorgeous flower this plant has? Another thing, this shrub stays green almost throughout the year. Even when there are no flowers, no berries, it's still alive, active, and present. In permaculture, we talk a lot about keeping soil covered, keeping roots alive in the ground, and this plant does that naturally. It protects the soil from harsh sun, reduces moisture loss, and keeps the ecosystem stable even in off seasons. This plant has wintering flowers. Now, this is where it becomes really special. This plant's flowers in winters. Around January, you start seeing buds, and then it flowers through January, February, and sometimes even into March. So, almost 2 to 3 months of flowering. Not in warm spring, not in summer, but in peak cold winters. And that changes everything because during winter, most plants are dormant. There's very little food available for pollinators, but this shrub is full of flowers. So, bees, flies, small insects, and other pollinators they all depend on this plant for survival during that time. In permaculture, one of the key ideas is supporting natural cycles, producing food for humans and at the same time making sure every part of the ecosystem is fed. And this plant fills a very critical seasonal gap. It doesn't compete with spring flowers, it complements them by feeding life when nothing else is available. That's intelligent design without any human designer. It is the best designer and the best caretaker that anyone can ask for. Mother Nature herself. And this is also another reason why native trees and plants are so important for the landscape everywhere. And then, as winter slowly fades, the flower begins turning into berries. At first, they are green, covered in green leaf coating, firm, almost hidden. The plant is storing energy and building slowly. And then, as summer approaches, they begin to ripe. The outer layer opens, and inside, these bright orange berries appear. Soft, delicate, extremely sweet. You don't even have to pluck them, you just touch them and they fall right into your hand. And the taste is very gentle, very rich, almost melts instantly. In fact, if you have sore throat or if your throat is paining cause of constant cough and all, you can consume this berry. Even for small children, it's good for the throat. It's supposed to soothe the pain and the harshness because it's so extremely soft. But you have to be careful if you eat too many continuously throughout the day. It can upset your stomach a bit, even cause diarrhea. So it's one of those foods which are best enjoyed slowly. Although, to be honest, in fairness to this shrub, that only happens when you're eating this all day long, as children tend to do, because it's available like literally everywhere in summer on all hills and random wild spots. You'll see it growing. When we were kids, we used to have so much fun running around everywhere foraging for these berries and eating all day long. Because in my time, there were no all these electronic gadgets and phone on internet. But of course, access of everything is bad except potato, I guess, which is my favorite vegetable. But coming back to this berry, in peak summer, these berries are everywhere, entire hillsides covered in orange. It's wild abundance. No one plants it, no one irrigates it, and yet it produces so much. This is what a healthy ecosystem looks like. This plant is a perfect example of stacking functions. One plant and many roles for humans, for birds, for insects, shelter for nesting, protection through thorns, soil stabilization, moisture retention, and even beauty. In permaculture, we try to design systems like this, but here nature has already done it effortlessly. Now, this is beauty. Just have a look at this. Not just for humans, but all the pollinators and wildlife as well. How can you see this and not be tempted to eat it? Another interesting role, this plant often grows along edges of forest, edges of paths, edges of fields. In permaculture, edges are considered one of the most productive zones, and this plant thrives there. Because of its dense growth in thorns, it can act as a natural fence. It slows down movement both of animals and humans. So, in agroforestry systems, it can be used as a living boundary, something that protects but also gives back and also provides shelter to nature. In the Himalayan foothills, soil erosion is a very real concern, especially during heavy rains. Plants like this help anchor the land. Their roots spread widely, holding the soil together and reducing runoff. And over time, the leaves fall, they decompose and build organic matter. So the plant is constantly feeding the soil, not just taken from it. Another principle is self-regulation. This plant doesn't need fertilizers, it doesn't need pruning, it doesn't need protection. It survives harsh winters. In fact, it thrives in winters. It survives the dry drought periods we have here when we don't get rains for 6 to 7 months, and then it also survives the heavy monsoon rains. So, in other words, it adapts, and that resilience is something permaculture systems aim for: low input and high stability. In an agroforestry setup, this plant fits in very naturally. You can grow it along orchard boundaries or between tree lines. It brings pollinators in winters, which benefits fruit trees later. It provides food in summer without competing heavily with larger trees, and it creates layers in the system: ground layer, shrub layer, canopy layer, which is the core idea in forest based farming. And I think one of the most important aspects of this plant is that it supports biodiversity. Multiple species of trees, plants, wildlife, insects, birds, small mammals, everything interacts with this plant in some way, and the more the biodiversity you have, the more stable your ecosystem becomes. And I think that's the real takeaway. Native plants, they are not just growing, they are participating in ways we don't always notice, like flowering in winter, like feeding pollinators when nothing else does, like holding the soil fertility. So the next time you see these orange berries across hills, it's not just a fruit, it's a whole system working silently, season after season, and maybe there's something to learn from that. And if you ever visit the Himalayas and you see these bright orange berries, don't be afraid to try them. You can give it a go. Trust me, you won't be able to hold back from going again and again and again. That stomach upset warning was there for a reason. It's really too delicious and irresistible. With that, we've reached the end of this video. This is gonna be my last Himalayan native plants video for a while. I think I'm ending the series for now on a very propitious plant, Himalayan golden raspberry. What a beautiful name and a beautiful fruit. So thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe and as always, keep on planting.